Even our closing stand-up, I think I'm going to hit you right in the face because I really want your respect. Moving along now to our third fight of the evening. 10 rounds in the bantamweight division between two guys who have yet to taste defeat, Antonio Nieves and Nikolai Potapov. Well, like most of the fighters we see from Eastern Europe these days, Nikolai Potapov had a long amateur career, more than 170 fights. We saw Potapov last April in the second of the two fights he's had here in the U.S. when he escaped with a draw in a back-and-forth fight with unbeaten American Stefan Young. Potapov was scheduled to face Antonio Nieves last August on Showbox, but he was injured and had to withdraw, so he went back home to Russia, where he fought a couple of fights just to get ready for this fight. He had had his first 13 professional fights in Russia. He's a technical fighter, a boxer who can, if necessary, be aggressive. He's ranked in the top 15 by 3 of the alphabet, so the stakes, needless to say, quite significant. Steve, let's go behind the numbers with Nikolai Potapov.
Well, Barry, as you mentioned, in his one Showbox appearance, Potapov fought to a draw with Stefan Young. Nieves also fought Young, and that result was also a draw. So please, somebody win this fight. Rushing home after 7 straight fights that went 10 rounds or longer. Potapov returned home last year. He scored 2 KOs, but don't get excited. The opponents had records of 10, 38, 3, and 2 and 15. And quality imports. Back when Potapov was regularly fighting in Russia, most of his opposition was imported. And the fighters were better than you might think. This bantam has not been babied.
29-year-old Antonio Nieves comes to us from Cleveland. Tonight he makes his second Showbox appearance. Last August, Nieves agreed to fight a last-minute substitute, Alejandro Santiago, after Potapov withdrew and seemed fortunate to wind up with a draw. Tonight he says he won't be seeing the flat-footed fighter, that is, we won't be. At times struggled with Santiago. He feels that he overtrained for that fight. Nieves is a boxer, counterpuncher. He's got good ring movement. Comes off a second-round KO win this past November. He's also ranked in the top 15 by one of the sanctioning bodies, so the stakes are high for him as well. Steve, let's go behind the numbers with Antonio Nieves.
Well, for Nieves, Barry, decent, but like the unbeaten Potapov, the unbeaten Nieves has faced good but not A-level opposition. That's why this fight is so important for him. He needs a signature win. Ohio low. Nieves was hoping a win tonight would lead to an all-Ohio title challenge of Cincinnati's Raushi Warren. But Warren just lost his title. Has that negatively affected Nieves' motivation? And time is now. This will be Nieves' 4th start in the past 10 months. During that time, he's developed into a 10-round fighter. He's 29, an advanced age for most bantams, and there's pressure to deliver now.
All right, once again, we take you to the center of the ring for the introduction of the fighters in our third fight of the evening. Here once again is our ring announcer, Pete Trevino. Pete?
Ladies and gentlemen, the boxing continues here on Showbox, the new generation. From the event center here at MGM Grand Detroit, brought to you by Salida Promotions in association with MGM Grand Detroit and Showtime. All of this evening's matchups have been sanctioned under the auspices of the State of Michigan Unarmed Combat Commission. Your judges for the following contest are as follows. From Lincoln Park, Michigan, Frank Garza. From New York, New York, Waleska Ralden. And from Detroit, Michigan, Ansel Stewart. And the man in the middle of the fight responsible for keeping it clean and fair is referee Gerard White. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-main event of the evening for the NABO Championship. Scheduled for 10 rounds in the bantamweight division. Are you ready for it, Detroit? Say yeah! Introducing your fighters first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks trimmed in blue and gold. Standing 5 feet 5 inches tall, he weighed in at 117.5 pounds. He comes to the ring undefeated with a record of 6 wins, no losses, and 1 draw, with 8 of those big wins coming by way of knockouts. Fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, by way of Podolsk, Russia, ladies and gentlemen, here is Nikolai Potapov. His opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the silver trunks and black. Standing 5 feet 4 inches tall, he weighed in at 116.5 pounds. He also comes to the ring undefeated with a record of 17 wins, no losses, and 2 draws, with 9 of those big wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Cleveland, Ohio, ladies and gentlemen, here is the reigning, defending, and ABO Bantamweight champion, Antonio Carita Nieves. Referee Gerard White with your championship instruction.
Gentlemen, this is for the NABO Bantamweight title. We're going over the instructions in the dressing room. Obey my commands at all times. This is good. This is good. Touch them up and we can go to work.
A lot of intensity, especially from Nieves, as we look at the numbers for these guys, as was the case with our first bantamweight bout tonight. Both these fighters came in lighter than usual. The contracted weight was the bantamweight limit of 118 pounds. They both came in well under. Rules here, the unified rules: no standing 8, no 3 knockdown rule. Only ref can stop the fight, cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If there's an accidental foul that brings a stoppage before the end of round 4, no decision. After that, we go to the cards. Barry.
Thank you. This will be a 10-round fight, and a fight that does have some title opportunities, perhaps, to the winners. Now, Potapov wearing the familiar Kronk trunks. Nieves trying to work the jab early in this fight.
See the amateur experience. Potapov, mostly domestic amateur fights, not a big amateur star. And Nieves did fight in the 2012 Olympic trials. So he was a top American amateur. The pro experience, more rounds for Potapov, despite the fewer bouts, because he's been in so many 10 and 12 round fights already.
Nieves really working that jab, being very effective with that jab.
These guys have similar styles.
I'd say they're both primarily boxers. But I feel that it's going to be important for Potapov to be the one to put a little bit of pressure on Nieves.
Yes, I agree. I think Potapov is going to have to close that range, get closer, close the distance.
As you pointed out, though, Raul, he's working the jab. Nieves is working the jab pretty well here.
And that's exactly what he said he was going to do. And that fight with Agustin Santiago, he said that wasn't him. He was too flat-footed. He wasn't using his speed, his jab, his angles. He said that, you know, we're going to see a more better Nieves. You know, the whole arsenal, the technician that he is. And so far in this round, he looks like he's in a zone. He's in control. That jab, very effective. The same thing, the jab, up and down. I think he's winning this round.
I do too. Came to the counter left hand, took a left hand from Potapov.
I like seeing Nieves not only jab, but every once in a while come back with the right hand behind the jab.
Yeah. The jab of Nieves, the difference in this first round.
Yeah, I think Potapov studying Nieves, hasn't figured out yet how to reach him. Left hook seems to be the way to go.
A lot of those punches that are caught in the gloves of Nieves.
Good angles there. Spin him around and body shot by Nieves.
I know it's only one round, but Nieves definitely looks quicker than he did when he fought on Showbox against Santiago.
No question. We had a chance to talk to Antonio Nieves about what he needed to do in this fight and make things a little better for him.
Since he likes to come forward, he likes to be in that mid-range. By me using my double jab and my jab, is going to keep him off balance. And by me changing ankles, he doesn't move his feet very fast. So by me moving those ankles is going to give me the opportunity to hit him with big shots from the side.
It's an instinct, something he's been doing forever. So let's bring the right hand, nice and straight behind it, and then the hook behind that. Now, when he does touch it a couple times, you got to return this stuff. You got to go to those Framptons. You got to go to those counter shots. Okay? You're doing a nice job. Okay? Let's be just a little bit more finesseful too. Let's keep working our angles. All right? Two.
So here we go, round 2.
We were told yesterday that Nieves' trainer, Joe Delguide, who's one of the top trainers in the Cleveland area, would not be here tonight. But that was him in the corner, so he made it.
Yeah, he did.
Which is good for Nieves, a familiar voice and face in the corner.
Nieves right now executing exactly the game plan that he just spoke of. It's a good sharp jab.
Very solid jabs. I like the way he changes the speed and he doubles it, triples it, and he doesn't fall in. He knows how to control that balance. Unlike Tucker, you know, he doesn't fall in. That's what I'm trying to say about Nieves. Tucker was falling in. Notice the difference with Nieves. He doesn't fall in. He might miss the jab 2 or 3 times, but he still stays in balance, stays in form, keeps his composure.
Potapov really not able to get off quite yet.
And Raul's point is such a good one, because really what separates average fighters from really good fighters, balance might be the most important single thing. And it's something we don't talk about a lot, we take for granted a lot, but a real pro always keeps his balance.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. The balance, to me, the balance and a good jab, a good steady jab. Always got to pop that jab because everything comes off the jab. So you got to have a decent jab, or even keep the jab out there if you're not doing anything. It'll always keep your opponent thinking, what is he going to do next? Where's he going? Which way is he moving?
Potapov for the right hand of the body, one of the few shots he's gotten there with in this fight so far.
Off his hands.
You know, he's not always effective doing it, but Nieves clearly has the quicker feet. It's just he's got to put his punches together with the movement he's showing if he's going to clearly win these rounds, because these are not power punches. So the difference in rounds is going to be pretty subtle for the judges to figure out.
Yeah. All about volume. But again, I think an effective round.
Yeah, you see nice counter left hook. Watch your feet. He's doing his thing in there. He's relaxed. He's having fun. You can tell in the fighter when he's relaxed. You saw him use his counter left hook right now off the jab. That's a very effective punch. If anybody's tight and tense, you could see it in Potapav's face. Oh, nice. He's tight. Not loose.
Stop. Step back. Time.
More jab hooks. More jab, yeah? More jabs. Bucket. More punches. You pull them up. Pull right back inside. Cena bistro, okay? Cena bistro. More punches. Let's go. Right?
Seconds down. 3. 3.
Round number 3. Potapov's corner wants more punches.
And that's Sugar Hill Stewart. We used to know him as Javon Sugar Hill. He's actually changed his name to Sugar Hill Stewart. He's the nephew of the great Emmanuel Stewart.
Yep. And if you heard him in the corner, he said he learned a little bit of Russian, Potapav's language there. Next time we see him, he may turn his name into a Russian name.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah.
Well, this is their first fight together, and that's always asking a lot for a trainer to implement what he wants the fighter to learn after only one camp.
That was a nice left hand dug in by Potapov. Well, again, he's on the end of Nieves' jab.
Now you see Nieves feinting that jab. He's throwing up in the air, then he jabs to the body.
Off the head.
See if he does it again.
Both landed left hooks.
Yes. There's a right hand for Potapov, getting a little more in range here. 2 body shots and the left hand upstairs by Nieves.
See, Nieves knows the movement is all fine and good, but he's got to land punches. And it's when he's standing flat-footed and throwing these shots like right now, that's when he's getting hit.
And he's got to keep his right hand up because you saw Potapov left hook landed a couple of times, and Sugar Hill said they've been working on his left hook, and he really sat on it. I think he felt that left hook.
Nice quick combination there too. Left-hander, right hand behind it by Potapov. Much better round for Potapov here.
And he's done it, Barry, mostly with the left hook. We mentioned that Stefan Young forced both of these guys to draw, so of course I had to ask Stefan Young who he picks in this fight. He gave a slight edge to Nieves, but he said only if Nieves is busy. He has to throw a lot of punches. That was Stefan Young who fought both of these guys to a draw.
And he has done that so far. He stayed pretty busy. Potapov is more busy here in this one. Lead uppercut by Nieves. A tough punch to throw.
Off his head. Stop. Step back. Let him go. Box.
Much closer round.
We take a look at action from round 3. They're in tight, and that's a nice left uppercut from Potapov. Really effective shot. I think Barry, Raul, and I all gave Potapov that round.
I did.
So did I.
So round 4, scheduled for 10. Left hand from Potapov again, finding more of a home for that.
Yep, now he's changing it off the jab. Same thing Nieves was doing with his jab hand.
And you saw Sugar Hill showing Potapov he wants him to throw that left hook, or at least to finish with that left hook. Power shots, Nieves slightly more accurate. Probably 2 rounds to 1 Nieves, but you could argue it could be 2 to 1 Potapov.
Could be, yeah.
See, at times Nieves comes forward, as he's been doing some of this round.
And that's where Potapov gets off with his shots. So that's why Nieves got to be able to control it. I think he's better off at long to mid-range and keep turning. Don't stand too long in front of him. Do his work and then get out. Spin him around, give him angles.
Yeah, and I was going to say, one of the things he told us in our fighter meetings was he's got to give him angles. And last couple of rounds, he seems to be a little bit more squared up in front of him.
More flat-footed almost.
Which is what he said he did in the last fight.
Exactly. He does not want to do that. He's got to get back on his toes and just use fast, crisp combinations and just keep turning him, giving him angles. And see, like right there, he's following him in. He's going in too straight. He's not going in at an angle. Remember he said he was going to go in at an angle? Well, he's not doing that. He's just coming straight forward.
And I think part of the reason for that is there's been an adjustment from Potapov, which is that Potapov's drawing Nieves in.
I agree with you.
He's not applying pressure, not coming forward.
Watch the forearm. Box.
Remember, Potapov's a guy who's been in a bunch of 10 and 12 round fights. He's a very experienced guy. He's seen a lot of styles, and right now I think he's trying to draw Nieves in.
Yeah, you're right, he is. And Nieves is falling for it. Yeah. He'll wait, he'll hit him with 3 shots and sit there in the pocket like he's going to fight in there. Then he'll back up, and Nieves feels like he's got to come after him.
Off his head. Stop.
That time Nieves walked right to him.
The back, keep your head up. Box.
This could be a swing round because there have not been a lot of clean punches landed in this round. It's been a tough round for the judges.
Stop. Step back. Box.
Final seconds of this round, very close round. Well, coming up next, the network debut of Claressa Shields. And everybody very excited about that. And of course, before the hometown fans here, not far from her home of Flint, which is about 70 miles away, as Steve pointed out earlier, about an hour's drive away. She'll have a big contingent here at the MGM tonight. She fights a much more experienced opponent in Sylvia Zabadosh, who has had 20-something fights, very confident. She has only been stopped once, and Claressa told you, Steve, that hit her in the face in the first round.
It's good strategy.
I think so.
5. Answer 5.
That's still to come, our main event of the night.
Hope they don't leave their fight in the dressing room. My God.
Seconds is down.
They're working up a sweat.
5. 5.
Round 5. Close fight here.
Well, Nieves has thrown more punches. Whether that alone will convince the judges to score for him remains to be seen. Because in terms of clean punches landed, it's really close.
In that last round, you can make a case either way, I think.
There's that finish, that clean up left hook by Potapov again.
And that's where he wants to be.
And body punches Nieves with a big edge.
Stop. Step back. Give me a break, fellas. Give me a break. Thank you.
Maybe that'll be the difference. But we still have more than half the fight to go.
Very tactical fight so far.
Yes, go back and forth, and it's really a hard fight to judge so far. Nobody really taking over.
Break. Stop.
But
watch your heads.
And Nieves has had 2 draws, and you can really see why.
And with both of these guys, you know, they're not big punchers.
Yes.
Their KO percentage, both guys, is right around 50%. But they've remained undefeated. And both guys do have chances because of the alphabet ratings to fight for a world title in the near future.
Right.
Only the winner is going to have that opportunity after this fight.
Oh, stop. Stop. Step back. Box.
That time, Nieves got the better of the inside fighting, and there was a left hand slipped in by Nieves.
yeah, Nieves, he has to keep it. Every time he gets in the inside, he's got to take advantage and keep investing on them body shots. Because if anybody starts throwing the body shots, is Nieves. Hopefully in the later rounds it'll pay off and it'll tire Potapov.
As we said, these two were supposed to hook up last year in Rochester, New York. And Potapov was injured, could not fight. Santiago stepped into the fray and wound up in a draw with Nieves.
Just not a lot of clean power shots landing by either guy.
Left hand actually was a little short from Potapov.
You think Nieves has abandoned the jab a little bit?
He's getting a little right hand happy, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, early he was jabbing quite a lot.
Seems like he's looking for one punch.
Another close round.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was.
Halftime. Jabs, basically the same, although Nieves obviously has been much busier with his jab, but not landing any more than Potapov. Power shots, very close. Total punches, very close. The only real difference is the body punching that Nieves has done.
Extremely close fight.
Here we see Nieves, and I'll tell you, I mean, this fight is very even on my scorecards, and somebody's got to take over in the second half of the fight. For Nieves, he's got to get back at long to mid-range and, you know, use that jab again, give him angles, don't stand so in front of Potapov and bait into his fight. For Potapov, same thing, he's a smart guy. In and out, try to bait him in, stay more in the pocket, throw more combinations, throw more punches, and try to land that big left hook.
So we come to round 6, second half of this fight now. Very close fight.
And when so many of the power shots are not landing flush, it really forces the judges to really focus. So many of these shots are either missing or are partially deflected or caught on the shoulders or the forearms. It's really hard for the judges to find a reason to give somebody a round.
And then it really doesn't help when nobody gets hurt. I mean, you get hit with some good shots, but you don't see nobody rattle, nobody seem like they got hurt, back up, nothing like that. So.
And these two fighters do something, perhaps because they're more mature than some of the prospects we see on Showbox. They do something that's very, very elemental, but very, very important. They're very good at keeping their hands high. After they punch, before they punch.
Opposite.
And that's maybe one of the reasons, as Raul said, neither fighter's been hurt in this fight.
Blood on the cheek of Nieves. It looks like a cut over the right eye.
I mean, they're both technical fighters, and they got great fundamentals. You could tell they got a good base. You know, I mean, form, the balance, throw 3 and 4 punch combinations. One of them jabs a little bit better than the other one, like Nieves. Just seems like a very even match. I mean,
Yeah, very even.
yeah.
Stop. Step back.
See how bad that cut is. It's in the corner of the eye.
Yeah, I believe it's on the eyelid, which is usually a bad spot in a hard cut to stop bleeding.
Fight this close, you have to think Potapov will try to work on that. There's a left hand right on it.
Well, the first adjustment in this technical boxing match clearly was made by Potapov when he decided, I'm not going to chase Nieves. I'm going to have him come to me. Maybe it's Nieves' turn now to make an adjustment.
Yeah, we'll see. He's still trying to press the fight here. Missed with that uppercut.
I'll tell you what, and it's okay if Nieves baits into that, you know, coming straight forward. I mean, coming into Potapov, but again, he can't just come straight in. He's got to come in at an angle. That way he keeps turning him.
Neither of these fighters has ever been down.
Oh,
There was a good left hand from Potapov.
big mistake, the way he pulled out, hands down. Happens all the time.
You okay?
And I gave Potapov that round because of that left hook there.
As did I.
The last punch was a little low. Be careful.
Well, still to come, of course, Clarissa Shields in our main event of the evening. There's Tommy Hearns. He's still looking good, isn't he?
The Hitman.
Yeah. One of the greats, an extremely popular figure here in and about Detroit.
What he did for this city on August 2nd, 1980, when he won the welterweight title, was really amazing. Joe Louis Arena.
Special guy.
He can punch a little.
A little bit.
He will forever be, along with Emmanuel Stewart, of course, the face of the legendary Kronk team.
Absolutely.
Seven.
This is round 7 of this 10-round fight. A very close fight. Nieves was cut in the last round. The corner of the right eye. Right hand from Nieves. And a clash of heads there.
In the last round, I asked if Nieves was maybe getting away from the jab. Well, on cue, the show stat guys tell us that Nieves landed 19 jabs over the first 3 rounds, only 6 jabs in the last 3 rounds. Big difference.
Yeah.
One of the reasons he's not landing that jab is because Potapov is staying on the outside, not walking into that jab.
It's 3 or 4 punch combination, but not really anything solid.
Stop. Step back. Box.
You know, I don't even want to think this, but at the top I said anything but a draw. Well, you know,
Right now on my card, I have it a draw.
yeah, I'm not saying anything else.
I do too. 57.
I have Potapov ahead. Just because I refuse to score.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
You're not being a fair judge then.
I know. I
So,
never am.
so it'll be a majority draw. Good short with that right hand, Nieves.
Talk about adjustments. Well, if Potapov's going to lay back, as he's been doing, one way to counter that, if you're Nieves, is to volume punch. But it's hard to do that against a good counter puncher, and Potapov does counter punch well. There's a little bit of volume work.
Yeah,
there, a
I
little
think
shoe shine.
Nieves staying busy in this round. I'm
That's
busier
more.
with it too. Nice shot there. Left hand, right hand behind it.
Let him go. Look at it. Stop. Step back. Box.
Both of these fighters understand at this point in the fight that a knockout is unlikely.
Right.
Matter of fact, the knockdown is unlikely. So it's incumbent upon both of them to figure out ways to do enough to get that 10-9 round from the judges. The easiest and most common way to do that is just throw more punches than your opponent, even if you don't land them.
Yeah, and that's what Nieves is doing
Yes,
right now.
yeah, I think he is.
He's doing a lot of it, more of it. More than Potapov. Now digging to the body, he's changing it up. Throws some furries, then he sits down on the shots, throws 2 hard shots, and he gets back outside with the jab, and then throws some furries again.
And that cut is not appreciably worse. Has not stopped bleeding, but it's not any worse than it was in the last round.
3 fights ago, Nieves was cut over the right eye, so this is a recurring problem.
Telling this close fight. Close fight. Win the last 3 rounds. Okay? Une. Okay? Good defense. Smart punches. More balance for hooks. Okay? Bam. They're all short bistro. Let's go, baby. We're almost home, okay?
Round number 8, a fight that is still there, I believe, for the taking.
And you heard Sugar Hill talk about balance with Potapov. He said that's the first thing and the point of emphasis in camp was to work on Potapov's balance. He wanted the balance to improve so that Potapov could punch at any point.
He seems to be balanced most of this fight.
Yeah.
Both of them do.
Well, they both bounce a little bit on their toes
Yeah.
when they're not punching.
Watch your heads.
Not a lot has changed in terms of tempo, in terms of strategy over the last few rounds. The one punch that I think may give Nieves an edge, although I actually have Potapov ahead a point at this point, is that left hook to the body. Nieves has been the better body puncher through 7 rounds.
Yeah. It's a close fight. You can see this fight either way right now.
Totally.
I have Nieves in front by a point.
Yeah,
so do I.
one round difference. Well, Sugar Hill agreed with us. He told Potapov, close fight.
Yeah, he said win the last 3 rounds. This one, there's nothing to choose between the two of them.
Off his head. Stop. Thank you. Off his head. Keep your head up. Box.
Well, it definitely seems that Potapov's approach has taken the jab out of play largely for Nieves. There he tried to set up the right hand with the jab, but for the most part, the jab has not been anywhere near as effective as it was early in the fight. And that figured to be the jab from the hand speed and the foot speed of Nieves figured to be his advantages.
Not as much action here in this 8th round. There's a left hand from Potapov.
I'd say this round is still there to be won. No?
Yeah.
That was a good jab.
Yeah. The jab and them flurries could make the difference. I don't know with Nieves. But it is a very close round.
Potapov giving Nieves a little bit of his own medicine, banging 3 shots to the body. Again, even if those punches don't land or if they're blocked, judges are looking for something, for a reason to give one fighter the round.
It's a really close round. Round number 9. And got a momentary timeout here to right the referee now as the fighters come to the center of the ring. And here we go, round 9.
Certainly been an easy fight for referee Gerard White. That was not the case in our previous fight for Frank Garza.
I'll say.
Well, here you're seeing 2 professionals who have really good balance, really know how to box. What they're lacking is obviously punching power.
Tell you what, after 8 rounds, I mean, you could see what kind of fighters they are because they threw a lot of punches, they're tired, but they're still keeping their composure, their balance.
Yep.
And you see
good
9
double
rounds or
jab.
more. Yeah, Barry, 9 rounds or more, Potapov with a big edge in terms of experience.
Bring that up. Bring it up, okay? Box.
But the numbers suggest it would be a long shot that we would have a knockout late in this fight.
Nobody's been hurt in this fight. Hasn't been any real damage. There's the cut over the right eye, but I don't think there was any one punch that caused that.
We were told that if Nieves wins, he'd be the 2nd mandatory for the WBO title. Marlon Tapalos has that title. So the stakes here are pretty big, and the judges may determine ultimately the fate of which one of these guys does get a title fight.
Potapov wanted a headbutt there.
Stop.
But
Stop. Okay? Okay? Watch your head. Box. Off his head. Off his head.
this round is just like all of them.
Oh,
that was
nice.
a good right hand by Nieves, and Potapov answers with the left hand of his own. There's the uppercut again.
Yeah, it was the uppercut that dazed Potapov, and he threw it again, Nieves.
And then Potapov digs the left hand in and comes upstairs with the left hand. So both guys opening up a little bit here in round 9.
Safe to say that uppercut was the best punch of the fight?
I think so.
Yes. And the first time I see one of the fighters get hurt with the uppercut.
Yeah. First time anybody's taken a backward step, really.
Yeah, and given how this fight's being fought, you would think that one punch like that, being as effective as it was, is probably going to be enough to give him the round.
Tried it again there.
Yeah,
Was caught partially on the gloves that time.
He was trying to measure it with that jab. He's got that measuring stick. He's working it.
Final seconds of round 9.
And that is Anthony Durrell, a former world champion. And he's going to get the opportunity to fight Callum Smith from England for a super middleweight title that was vacated by Badou Jack. So that fight was won in purse bids by a U.S. promoter. So likely Durrell will get to fight Callum Smith in the USA.
Yeah.
It's a big advantage.
Yes, absolutely.
Let me get this right. Now, I want your hands up the whole round. I want you boxing the whole round, okay? All angles, all intelligence, all boxing, okay? I want you to win the round now. I want you to be busy, you understand?
Be strong. You train hard. You train hard. Good training.
Подними руки и не шагай назад, просто сталкивай его. Прям сталкивай его.
Let's go, baby. Let's get it. Let's get it.
10th and final round. They'll touch gloves.
Step back. Box.
Well, for what it's worth, guys, Nieves has averaged 16 more punches thrown per round. Coming in from previous fights, we know that he averaged about 10 more punches per round. Maybe that punch difference will be the difference in the scoring.
Well, I have, and Raul, both of us have Nieves ahead by 3 points here. So unless, at least on our cards, unless Potapov could knock him out.
I think Nieves had a big round the last round.
Yeah, with that
really. Yeah.
I have it a little closer. I have it 86-85, so 1 round difference on my card for Nieves. Please don't be a draw.
They wanted Nieves just to box the entire round, but they said win the round.
Well, you don't want to get lazy and think, hey, I got this fight won.
Well,
just give it away, give that round away. Yep.
If Steve's card is right, and there's just as great a chance of his is than ours is, he would need this round.
Nieves strictly staying on the outside this round, but not that lively with his legs.
Not as much action in this final round as I thought there might be. I thought there might be a little bit more desperation involved.
Yeah, this was a fight of technical boxing, so different from the bantamweight fight we saw of the more inexperienced fighters in our first fight.
Yes.
That was a collision. Is Nieves doing enough this round?
That's the question.
Because that could be asked of both fighters in virtually every round.
Potapov just trying to kind of counterweight for Nieves to come to him and then throw combinations. That was a quick right hand from Nieves. Counter left hand from Potapov.
Well, to the absolute shock of nobody, this is going to the cards.
Yes.
We kind of felt that way coming in. It's been a technical match.
Left hand dug in by Nieves after 2 misses from Potapov.
And maybe that's been the difference. Nieves' body shot.
Yeah, it could be. Well, once again, it is in the hands of the judges. Nieves and his corner think he won the fight.
Or at least they want us to believe.
Yeah, exactly.
They think
Maybe
he won the
selling
fight.
it. I don't know. Close fight, but it's a 2-point fight. I give the last round to Potapov.
I got it exactly like you, bro. 96-94.
Well, the jabs, I'm sure Nieves would have liked to have had a bigger edge there. He landed only 11%, a very low percentage of his jabs. The power shots, the real difference in the power shots were the body punches, and that's where Nieves had an edge, mostly left hooks. He threw 141 more punches. That might be enough.
All right, let's see what they have as we go to the center of the ring. Here again is Pete Trevino. Pete.
Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for both of the fighters in this ring. After 10 rounds of championship fighting, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge Garza scores the contest 96-94 for Potapov. Judge Rowland scores the contest 96-94 for Nieves. And Judge Stewart scores the contest 96-94 for your winner and new NABO champion, Nikolai Potapov.
Well, the most surprised guy in the room, without question, was Antonio Nieves.
He definitely did think he won the fight. You know what? Split decision, 6 rounds to 4. For Potapov twice, for Nieves once. I can't say it's a bad decision. I can't say it's a good decision, but it wasn't a draw, so I'm happy.
No, I feel the same way. And there were enough rounds in there that were close rounds that could go either way. 2 judges saw those close rounds the way of Potapov, and one saw it the way we saw it, and that was for Antonio Nieves. But I can't really whine about this decision. Potapov is the winner here again, Steve. A look at the judges' scorecards.
Well, what you're looking at right here is obviously a very close fight where 1 round difference would have been a draw on all 3 cards. And, you know, Potapov, he wants a shot at the fighter who beat Rashid Warren, the Russian new bantamweight. He's moved closer to that. Nieves, it's clearly a setback. In terms of excitement, neither fighter did enough to make me want to see them in a world title fight.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think that's right. Potapov gets the W, and the undefeated mark of Antonio Nieves goes by the wayside. I have an idea we'll see both these guys once again, and we still have another fight to go. And it's